Welcome to 91 Reasons, a pop culture fueled rocket into the far reaches of nerd culture. Featuring your hosts, Jeff, Rachel, Luna, Austin, and Josie. It's Tucker time.
Folks, you don't know what's been going on behind the scenes here, but there's been a huge argument over whether we were supposed to do this show or not doing this show, and it occurs to me that it's a lot like the ending of Homestuck. Rushed, poorly planned, and badly executed. Welcome to this episode, the final, question mark, in parentheses, episode of Homestuck edition, right?
Yes.
I am Jeff. I'm the voice of 91 Reasons. I'm sitting here with my resident, as always, resident Homestuck experts,
Austin.
Luna.
And yesterday was Austin's 16th birthday. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
We'll probably do an episode at some point wrapping up what that debacle was.
And it's about a few days ago was my third anniversary since reading the Homestuck comic.
Third anniversary. So you devoted 3 years, and
Yes.
we're going to find out right now whether that 3 years was worth it or not. So you turned 16, and we went on a big adventure, and you turned to me at some point and said, I'm ready. I'm ready to sit down and talk about the ending of Homestuck. Because when did it end?
2 months ago.
2 months ago, and you guys have been saying ever since then you want to do an episode, but it really, because I said I'm not going to force you to do it. You either you want to do it or you don't, and you said finally, Father, you came up to my throne, you came up the stairs, and you're like, Father, I'm ready to begin to dissect the ending of Homestuck, and I said, let it be so.
I mean, I guess there's not much to be said other than everything we really knew about Hussey was true. The man blew it. What we know at this point is that he's a drunk, vaping alcoholic who lost control of the comic due to his... He lost it. He really did. He gave up on the comic, and he gave up on the fans.
So would you say you were A, extremely satisfied, B, satisfied, C, not satisfied, or D, extremely unsatisfied?
E, I was expecting the nuclear bomb. I knew this was going to have a terrible ending. I saw it coming from a mile away. When I saw the final flash, though, I couldn't help but get a little giddy and expect something to happen, but what happened was far worse than I ever could have imagined. I couldn't even imagine a worse finale than this. I was at least expecting... Here's the problem. Hussey
Get in on it. Get right there.
Hussey set up a lot of really dumb things at the end of the comic. Terrible, horrible decisions that is a failure of writing. And what I expected is for him to do something with that. But the final flash not only negates the first half of the comic, what the fans wanted, but it even negates the stuff he set up at the end. All that stuff at the ending he threw in. Dave Pettispite squared. Spite squared. Is Dave gay or not? All these subplots do not matter near the end. They were a complete waste of time, complete filler, and make no absolute sense. If you read the comic as a whole, nothing's going to make sense, because the first half of the comic's going to be one thing, the second half of the comic's going to be a whole other bunch of new plots that were introduced, and in the end, none of them get wrapped up. Not even the ones he introduced pages before the end. Yes, Jasper Spite Squared, a character who is introduced right before the finale, does not show up in the finale. He is not in it anywhere. He introduces a character and they don't show up. He just forgets about them.
What ultimately was the outcome of Homestuck? Like, pick a movie.
Win.
Pick a movie.
Though they didn't win, though.
Pick a movie at random.
Planet of the Apes.
Taylor realizes that it was Earth all along. Right?
Yeah.
I've summarized the ending of Planet of the Apes.
So the ending of Homestuck?
What's the ending of Homestuck?
They win.
No,
That's
it's not. That's not it. You do not.
That's it.
No.
Who's they?
No. Let me explain.
The trolls?
The
No.
selective few that didn't die.
The selective few that didn't die don't win, though, because it was said a few pages before the finale that Caliborn would trap them forever in the house.
Okay, no.
So
Okay, no. Don't start that yet. I was just on the Reddit Discord. They talked until 5 a.m. on that subject. Like, a solid 5 or 6 hours.
Well, I don't
only
care
on
what the
that.
Reddit Discord has
Forget
to
that
say.
No, exactly. You're saying what they're saying. Forget about that for now and just say the ending.
Well, that is the ending. The ending is the main characters are forever stuck in a house. The end. That's the ending of the comic he told us. He said that before the finale. Caliborn says, I went on a computer and I skipped ahead to the ending and I beat the kids and win. And guess what happens at the end of the comic? we never see the kids rise up against Caliborn. He wins. The ending of the comic is the 4 kids get forever stuck in the house, and the alpha kids get beat to a bloody pulp. That's the ending of Homestuck. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Because Caliborn gets stuck back in time. So the villain gets caught in a never-ending loop because he gets put in Little Cow. And the kids are forever stuck in the house.
It and they get back out and then defeat Lord English. And then it ends.
We don't know what the hell was happening there.
That's what we were told, so that's what we have to assume, because there's no other...
Well, we have to assume. Okay, that's what Vriska's plan... What was Vriska doing? It was like the 4 kids' logos were showing. It made literally no sense.
She released them from the Juju, and they defeated the Lord English.
How?
What do you mean?
How did she release the kids from the Juju?
She activated it.
Then why didn't the kids come flying out of the house? Why did their colors flash by? That didn't make any sense at all. I'm sorry. I didn't know what was happening there. That didn't make any sense.
She activated the Juju, which kills Lord English. You don't need to question how it's done, or how it functions, or why it kills him. It's just, the narrative says, when thing is activated, LE dies. So, it's activated, LE dies. That's it.
So you're telling me
you're not supposed to question beyond that.
So, let me get this. Were you satisfied with the ending?
No.
Because
I'm just trying to figure out
You're arguing as if you guys have 2 different points of view.
We both hate it.
You both hate it.
It's trash. It's hardly even acceptable. And it disgusts me that Hussey let this go. And, I can't even go, well, at least it was creative. Because the ending was uncreative, bland, and all the art was done by outside people that Hussey paid them to do.
I didn't follow Homestuck, obviously, the way you guys have followed Homestuck. And I always make just analogies. So, the only analogy I can come up with was when we went and saw Revenge of the Sith in 2005. And it opens with, how long is that space battle until it crashes?
25 minutes.
It's like 20 minutes, right? And at that point I said, oh, we're in trouble. Because he's got so many plot lines to wrap up. It's never going to happen in the 2 hours that we have. Because he's already squandered 20 minutes of it on this eye candy.
We were told that the end of Homestuck would be 30 minutes of animation. And to put that in perspective, the end of the 5th act of Homestuck was Cascade. And that in 11 minutes... told more story and character progress than anything else had before it. The whole rest of the comic before it. But out of the 30 minutes, it's 16 or 18. How long's Collide? 16.
Have no clue.
I think 16 minutes of it is just an action scene with no progression. It's just they beat each other up.
Mindless characters beating each other up that, well, mind you, we already saw died because you haven't read the comics. So let me just tell you real quick that a big finale happens that's awesomely amazing, like the best animation of the comic, and they go back in time and stop that from ever happening. So basically what the ending of the comic is the fight we just saw happening again, because even though they went back in time to stop it, they did not stop the villains from beating them up. So you have to watch the same fight twice. One is done with...
different place.
No.
Did he take a page out of Twilight? Because, the last Twilight movie in the trailer shows a final battle between the vampires and the werewolves, and I didn't follow that either. But I know a lot of people are like, oh, finally! And in the movie, it's a what-if dream sequence. Well, it's not even canon.
Basically, Homestuck does that in the sense that we get an amazing finale back in 2014. Why I got so into the comic a few years ago. And it's amazing. They kill characters you didn't expect them to. They kill Carcat. They kill Kanaya. It's amazing what they do and how the characters survive and persevere through it. But they go back in time and stop that from happening, only to have the ending of Homestuck, which is basically the same villain against the same characters, except this time, nothing goes wrong. Because we don't know why.
Vriska was there.
No, I'm talking about Kanaya against Candace. What was different about that fight? That was the same fight, except Kanaya beat Candace this time. What did they do back in time to change it? Nothing.
No, they did. Because Paradox Space isn't affected by retcons, Arania was already dead. And without Arania it mess them up, they could beat the Candace.
No, that doesn't
and
make
once
any...
again means the circuits. It's all about the circuits.
I'm stopping you right there.
The only characters that matter.
So
wait, let me talk.
Stuck in
let
the
me
house
talk.
At the beginning
no,
of the...
let me talk. Please let me talk. You're interrupting me. I'm trying to counter Luna right now. In Game Over, Candace uses her laser eyes to zap Kanaya in one hit. So they go back in time and do a bunch of stuff that doesn't affect it. So in the new timeline, Candace and Kanaya are looking at each other. Why doesn't Candace use the same move and kill her again in the same way?
He just doesn't.
Because he doesn't. See, going back in time did nothing. It didn't do anything to help the characters in the finale. All they did was literally nothing. Candace should have zapped Kanaya and killed her there. Again, the same thing should have happened. Why did it go differently? What was the variable? What made Kanaya beat the
Vriska.
Candace? No, Vriska wasn't in that fight. He was not in that fight. No.
No, Vriska set it up.
It was the same characters in the same position.
No, they were now in a position on Durst where they had the upper hand because they were able to plan out their fight, and they were able to set up Jane with the windows. They did all
the windows were never used.
To be there.
Okay, how does
they did?
How
the
does
windows
this
are used?
How does this in any way not make the Candace not be able to use her eye power to kill all 4 kids?
Because the
in one
Candace
blow?
doesn't use eye powers anymore.
Why doesn't she use eye power? She could have killed all 4 at once.
You can't do that.
Why can't you do that? Because a plot protection? Because they have
Because
plot
she's a
armor?
video game boss. They never do that.
What do you mean they never do that? She could kill him right there. Video game boss, huh?
If going by the narrative style, Game Over is an action sequence, but Collide is a boss battle.
Well,
Game Over is a cutscene.
No, that's stupid. It's a horrible, horrible excuse to write a terrible ending with poor directing, poor excuses, and basically sloppy, trashy writing. I'm sorry, the video game boss fight thing, I am not buying that at all. Why didn't it? No, that doesn't follow different rules because that wasn't
the rules of Acts 1 through 4, where they fought their guardians in strifes.
Well, those rules don't apply anymore because we're in the later acts of the comic. We've seen the action scenes. We see what the villains can do. I know Hussey wants to make a video game, but this is a video game parody, yes, but it is also a story that has to follow the rules of storytelling. And there are certain moments where characters can do things they don't that make it seem stupid. For example, there's an entire army of imps. Imps.
Those don't exist after Act 6.
Why don't they exist after Act 6?
They just aren't there.
Okay,
Hussey just stopped
A
caring
little bit of
about
setup.
them.
There's an entire army of invincible imps we saw in Act 6
In Act
that
5.
Candace can control with her Tavros powers. Why didn't she use those imps to her advantage to gain the upper hand of the
Because
session?
they were all gone. The last time we
Well,
ever
where
see
did they
them,
go? Where did they go?
They're watching Con Air and eating popcorn. It's the last time we see them.
It doesn't matter if they're smoking cigarettes out back. The Candace can use her mind control. Mind control!
Yeah,
and beast
but they're not there
communication.
anymore.
So you can either talk to them or control them. Wow, that's a lot of ways to control. So you could pay them, so you could use her mind directly on them, and so you can have an entire invincible army on her side. Where did they go? We never saw them in the plot again. Where did this army of imps go? They were set up, we saw
The
them.
only possibility is that once the sessions were merged, the alpha session is the one that... It's the beta session joined the alpha session, and the alpha session doesn't have imps. So now there's no imps.
There's no imps.
That's the only possible explanation. It's never stated.
Never stated. I'm sorry, but...
Because the alpha one only has the skeletons. Adding more planets to it won't change that. They're still just skeletons.
I don't even know at this point. I mean... Let's just talk about the fact
The only
that
thing
the
that goes
final
against
flash
that is that Bec Noir's ring still works, which shouldn't in that case.
Oh, don't get me started on that stupid Bec Noir fight. You're telling me that the Mayor, a character who is introduced with Bec Noir killing all of his people, and he doesn't get the final hit on Bec Noir? Are you kidding me? The Mayor was the one who
Bec
witnessed
Noir
the...
gets redemption.
Bec Noir doesn't deserve nothing.
He's having a picnic with Miss Paint.
No.
John's like, oh, that's the guy that killed my dad.
I'm
Doesn't
sorry,
matter. I have a
but-
new dad. He doesn't know who I am, though.
I'm sorry, but the whole thing of WV not getting the hit on Jack at the end is perhaps the biggest mistake of the entire comic. What do you mean redemption? He murdered all of WV's chess friends. He killed every one of them, and there was a scene where WV is in a pool of blood with all of his friends, and he vows someday to
But
take out the king, and
WV,
he doesn't?
He rips the Jack's doll head off. That's all that he gets to do.
No,
That's the end of his arc.
He should be able to take part in the final battle, because this is something called the hero's journey. He has to go up against the antagonist.
WV is a joke character.
He's not a joke character. He's not a joke character at all. He's presented with a real serious story. He stands in a pool of blood. He's not a joke character. We spent way too much time on him. Oh my god, so much of Act 2, Act 4, oh my god, even Act 5 is spent on WV. We spend a long time on WV.
But
So,
in the end, he's a joke character.
but in the end, he's a joke character? I'm sorry, but that is a pathetic, sad excuse.
His end of his arc is destroying the ring. Because that's destroying the king.
That doesn't count.
That's what he gets to
He
do.
needs to put on the wing
No.
and gangs back powers.
Yeah.
That's what he should have done.
Well, that's what his nightmare was. That he was scared of.
Yeah, something that was set up that didn't even happen. You don't
And
foreshadow something and never do it.
You know what happened with the WV's dream, right?
No?
At the end of the dream, he doesn't get to live out the nightmare of killing everyone. Vriska shows up and saves him.
So you're saying Hussey planned this? Oh my god. You're telling Hussey mapped out his own disappointment and failure?
Well,
like he stood across the room?
There's only the ending is horrible, but you have to live with the fact that Hussey published that on the site 100% feeling good about it. He thought that was okay, and that this is an actual thing he likes, and you have to judge it as if it's a good thing, because he thinks it is.
I'm judging it because it's trash. Because Andrew Hussey is a trashy writer who's become an alcoholic, vape-addicted jock who does not care about his fans, who flips everyone off on 4chan, and could care less about his fans, and wants nothing but to sell t-shirts and get extra money. I have no redemption for this man. I hate him. I really hate him, and I have no respect for him at all. I have zero respect for this man because he's not the man that he once was. Not at all. When Homestuck started out, Andrew Hussey was a man who had a comic who cared about his fans because he loved the fans. He made it reader-fueled, he had fun with it, and he had a good time. But everything changed when his Kickstarter went wrong, and he decided that Homestuck was all about the money.
Was it Dante Basco?
It might have been Dante Basco.
Did everything change when the Fire Nation attacked?
Who knows? But there was some point where Hussey realized that making money off of the comic is more important than the comic actually being good. And that ended up flipping back on him because he's lost all his fans and isn't making money anymore. But you know what? Part of me thinks he deserves it, because he repeatedly tortured us with these terrible updates, hinting at bringing things back, hinting at doing things that never happened. He teased us at things like Wizardy Hobo and Calmasis that never went anywhere. He wouldn't stop talking about the original retcon characters as if they were important, but they never came back. What about that whole scene of Jasper Sprite talking about how much he misses Game Over Kanaya? Doesn't that set up a scene where Game Over Kanaya meets Rose again? No! Because Game Over Kanaya never shows up again. Because who cares about that plot? Because who cares about any of that? Who cares about these characters in this comic anymore? All he cares about is selling a t-shirt!
Dad, calm him down, please.
Do you understand?
No, he's raging. Rage against the machine, go!
So, I guess the final sentence I can say is I'm done. I don't care about this comic anymore, and I don't care about its creator, and I'm ready to move on to better things. The end.
That's it?
That's it. He failed us all.
Give him 3 more days.
I see no...
6/12s in 3 days.
Oh, what, when he releases a Volume 10 album because he paid Toby Fox to make him another quick buck? Or when he comes out with more t-shirts and more merchandise? Or my personal favorite idea, the terrible scrap-together epilogue that's gonna attempt to bring 3 pages of happiness. Oh, what, did Spade Slick come back to life magically? Oh my god, I can't wait, and will not care and will not read it. I'm done with this comic, goodbye.
How would you have ended it?
How would I have ended it?
You.
Me? Oh, I can think of 1,000 better ways how I would have ended it. I would have spent another 2 years on the comic. It wasn't anywhere nearing its end, but Game Over was a good starting place because it puts all of our heroes pitted against the worst. All of them die, but they're set up in the dream bubbles. So at the end of Game Over, we have John Egbert and Roxy in the Session, where they can go up and face Candace, who's John's grandmother. So they can go face Candace, while the rest of the characters are dead in the dream bubbles, and they can go and face Lord Inglis. So what if the characters that died in Game Over face Lord Inglis, and Lord Inglis maybe even perma-killed a few characters? Perma-kill Urania, perma-kill Mina, even...
Urania is perma-killed.
No, we just never saw her again. But anyways, just...
Debatable. Some people consider her perma-killed.
Just, who cares? It is inside, who cares? But perma-kill some characters and do some damage in the dream bubble so that we can understand that Lord Inglis is bad. Meanwhile, John can have an intervention with the Candace. This already sets up a much better plot. What about Spade Slick arriving in the Session? Why is he a bad guy? How come Spade Slick didn't arrive to the post-punk Bowman theme? You know how Diamonds Droog arose more casually to the acapella theme? Why didn't we have Spade Slick arrive more casually to the Bowman theme? And when Spade Slick arrived, he could perhaps revive Carcat. Jane could revive Carcat. No, his life was already used. How about this? How about Carcat wakes up after being perma-killed by Lord Inglis, and he's got robotic limbs, and he looks up and it's Spade Slick. And Spade Slick rescued Carcat out of the lava and gave him a robotic arm and eye. And that's when Carcat realizes that Spade Slick is the Jack from his Session, the only fatherly figure and friend he really had. So now Carcat and Spade Slick are both robotic and torn up and ready to fight the villain in their new outfits and cool. Or
Vriska can go, hey Carcat, that's the Spades. And Vriska goes, okay, and then never meets him again.
I know, why? Vriska looks at Carcat and says, hey, do you know that friend you had years ago? The only friend you ever had in life? I'm gonna send Dave to go over kill him. You know, the one that's your boyfriend? He's gonna go over and just murder the guy. Cockhat? Well, that's gonna be great. Okay, see you later, boyfriend. Have fun murdering my only fatherly figure in life. What the hell? Who writes this? That's literally what happened.
Plot twist, Carcats, I hope he's okay. It means Spade Slick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Spade Slick isn't saved, and Cockhat has a terrible ending. The end. This is stupid. I'm sorry, but it is. There's a lot better ways you could have ended the comic. Just something that at least wraps up the character. Something that at least provided these characters with an ending. How about Solix? Solix never shows up. How about Owadia? Owadia never shows up. Wait a second. Solix and Owadia never show up in the ending? Are you kidding me?
Do.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Aradia whips Lord English as a callback to Rose getting the ogre.
And then what?
Handmaid.
Where's her ending?
That's what she does. Her character arc ended in Act 5.
What? But he's still in the comic. Why is he still in it?
Because she has to be.
No, you can write her off. So you can learn to accept death. How about, oh my god, how about this? How about when all the characters in Game Over go in the dream bubbles, Lord English perma kills Owadia and Solix right in front of Cockhat.
Because they're
Bam, there you go. Cockhat realizes that Lord English has killed Solix and Owadia, two of his friends that he feels is responsible for their death because he let them die on the meteor. Wait, no.
You keep putting Carcat as the protagonist. He's not.
He is!
He's not the
He was
protagonist.
John, Cockhat, and Jane Crocker are the protagonists.
Jane Crocker!
Yes.
Jane Crocker.
Don't even get me started with the mind control plot we should have had. You know, the one where Jane realizes the mistakes and that she's damaged her friends.
Jane Crocker is not a main character.
Yes, he is! Because Act 6 is introduced with Jane.
Yeah. She's a arc character. She's Part 3's titular character.
Then she has to have a redeeming
But
arc.
she's not the protagonist of
let's
Homestuck.
have this. Let's have Jane go uncrocketeer and realize the damage that she's done to her friends, and she has to repair her friends' relationship. And because the Alpha kids, they don't bond well. They've always had a troubled relationship.
Well, yeah, because of the noble gases. They can't bond.
Yeah, so Jane, who realized her mistakes when she was mind controlled and she gave in to her grandmother, needs to realize and not give in to her family, Crocker Corp, like she's been doing since the beginning with all their technology, and instead needs to repair the bonds between her friendships and become a better friend. There you go. There's a better ending right there. A better arc.
Jane dies, and that's why the Condis flips out and is allowed to be killed.
Wait.
The Condis shows emotion for Jane, so Roxy gets the chance to backstab her.
Roxy backstabbing Condis is another stupid idea in the comic that I thought was a horrible move. Like, what, Roxy outright murder someone? Are you kidding me? The same girl that gave all the pumpkins to the homeless WVs is just outright murders Jane's grandmother? Are you kidding me?
Well, she was the one... The Condis is the one who put the chess people in poverty.
Condis would be killed by her own faults. Everything that C created that was a disaster. C tortured Roxy by ruining human society. But C didn't just torture Roxy. C tortured every human on the planet and killed every one of them. And before that, C was responsible for the Troll Society and made every troll who ever existed go through living hell. What needed to happen somehow was, through some Owadia shenanigans, Dream Bubble shenanigans, have the souls of all the trolls that C killed drag her in to the next life. Just have all the souls whip out like the original ending to the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Oh, no.
Have all the souls.
The Deathly Hallows.
That's the ending you do. Have all the souls of everything C made suffer kill her. Or do something ridiculous and stupid, like a bucket falls on her head and knocks her into a spinning blade. I don't know. Anything that revolves around her own creation killing her. Have an Imperial drone go haywire and bump into her and kill her.
She was killed by Bro's sword. That's as close as you get.
Well, then have Bro's sword do an acrobatic pirouette off the handle of a drone and kill her. Don't have Roxy kill her.
The only characters Condis killed that are characters in Homestuck, the only ones she's on screen kills that are important are Alpha, Rose, and Dave. So the kill of Condis goes to Roxy with Dave's sword.
Dave's sword getting the kill makes sense because it's symbolic for all that she made suffering in that world. But what also needs to kill her is something from the Trolls world. She needs to be killed by a combination of the suffering of the Trolls world and the human world. And whatever weird freak accident that is, whether it's a sword falling through her, a drone malfunction, I don't know, anything, is he needs to be killed by something that represents all of the Troll Society and the Human Society. Whole death was represented in Zero by the Troll Society. C murders millions of trolls, and C does not get the suffering C deserves. And the Human Society is a bad thing. C's killed by Roxy. Roxy gave in to the horrible Troll Society that Condis wanted and murdered someone. That's horrible. Roxy never should have killed Condis. That is an act of murder. Roxy is a murderer.
You know the real reason Condis didn't get a proper ending in Homestuck, right?
Because Hussey's lazy and doesn't care?
She's gonna be in Hive Swap.
Oh, because Hussey's lazy and doesn't care. I see. He's too busy trying to get this video game done that's never going to come out that he should have dropped back in 2012. Are you kidding me? No. Saving Condas for Hive Swap is stupid. Write a complete story. Don't make us waiting for a game that we know we're never going to see the light of day. He needs to give up on the game, call it quits, and give us a comic that he wanted.
He'll never give up. After all these years, if he cares about it more than the comic.
He can persevere on this game all he wants. I don't care. I won't follow it anymore. I won't follow this comic anymore. He's been trying to make an adventure game since Problem Sleuth. Yeah, but...
he cares about it more than Homestuck.
That's a huge disappointment because he let down thousands of people. Homestuck was just a way to
make money to make a video game.
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard then. Homestuck had a fan base with people that cared, and he cared about us in the beginning, and he wrote updates that were good quality, he didn't give in plot holes, and he cared about the fans by at least communicating with them. How about the fact that the MSPA forums went down for the finale, and he not only never repaired them, but when he hired a technician to repair them, made the technician sign an NDA program so he couldn't tell us he's repairing the MSPA forums. He had to leak it out. Are you kidding me? Why didn't he put up a message saying, hey guys, I'm sorry the forums are down. I'll get them back up momentarily.
He doesn't do that.
Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he communicate with us when he has
to? He can just be quiet for a month and it just happens. He doesn't need to make
a
big
really?
deal of it.
Because Homestuck going quiet's a great idea. It's not like the fandom gets into drama hell and falls apart all the time.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't care. It doesn't affect him.
Doesn't affect him. He's a selfish moron. What else is new?
Done. He doesn't need to make a big to-do about it on the internet.
So this man has no redeeming qualities. I get it. He's not the man he once was. Since 2010... not since 2010. 2010 was Andrew Hussey being a different person. 2011 he cared about us. 2012, 2013. When I met Andrew Hussey in 2013 at Sifty Look, I met a different man. Not the man we look at today. 2015 and onwards, he's a different man. Even 2014, he gave us Game Over, a masterpiece, and he was heading the comic in the right direction, an ending that would satisfy us all. He was the same man from 2009 to 2014. That was Andrew Hussey. After 2015... after that Whisker Grant update, I'm not even sure who's writing the comic anymore. You could tell me Andrew Hussey was killed in 2014 at the end of Game Over, and that someone else took over the comic, and I would 100% believe you.
I think your generation got spoiled because you saw J.K. Rowling write book 1 of Harry Potter and never leave the fandom. She's as active now as she's ever been. Mm-hmm. She has enough money to never talk to anybody ever again. She could pay people not to talk to her, right? Mm-hmm. She's doing a play. She's on Twitter screaming every day about how Hermione can be whatever color people decide they want her to be. But see, look at me, man. I grew up in a generation where my J.K. Rowling, George Lucas, he just walked away from Star Wars. He sold it to the most evil corporation on the planet and said, rape it. Do whatever you want to with it. Now, he's had regrets about doing it, but that's the way it is,
Hussey can be a man of mystery I know nothing about, and things would have been better.
An international man of mystery, baby.
What I'm saying is, Hussey did talk to us. He did alert us.
Yeah, but and now he doesn't want to do it anymore.
No!
He's breaking up with you, and you can't handle it.
No, let me explain. He talked to us all the way up until the end, through idiot trans on 4chan that told us to flip off IPGD, the most disgusting human being that's ever lived. All those people on the art team, I hate Selby Cragg. I hate all those people. All they do is yell on Twitter and ramble and
Cragg?
Oh yes, Selby Cragg.
I hate her art style. I don't hate her.
Oh, Selby Cragg's a disgusting human being, and let me explain why. She went to a con and snuck pixels of Undertale.
That wasn't her. It was one of her friends.
And since he forwarded it to Toby Fox.
Talked about it, but she didn't do it.
Who runs around a con sneaking pixels of Undertale artists to send to Toby Fox? Who cares if they're breaking Toby Fox's beliefs because this is at some random independent con? Why does this need to be reported? The artist is doing what they like and selling it, but they have to report it to the creator themselves, and it wasn't even Toby Fox that was yelling at him. It was one of his little cronies. All of these people do. There was a point in time where I followed all these Homestuck artists on Tumblr, and I wanted to be them. I wanted to be Selby Cragg. I wanted to be Andrew Hussey and IPGD. I wanted to be with them and work for them and send them on. But no, I don't. All they do is rant and complain and yell at fans. If you don't sip Dave Cat, you're homophobic, said Hussey's wife. If you do this, you're terrible. If you do this, you're terrible. IPGD told everyone to go flip off on 4chan. How does Hussey allow this? He just sits around while all his moron friends are the only speaking force of the fandom. And now the fandom's just like, well, if you don't agree with Selby Cragg or IPGD, I'm going to write a paragraph argument on you. They're the only force we have. Why doesn't Hussey put his foot down to his friends and say, hey, you're putting a really bad image on me, you know that? You really are. But no, he lets his friends taint his image. They let him pee all over his image. That's what they let him do. They're peeing on Hussey's image. They ruined him. I don't look at Andrew Hussey because I look at him through a wall of friends that are online morons that yell at fans because they're too busy being triggered and they only care about themselves and themselves only. They're selfish, they're horrible, and they ruin the fandom and they ruined the comic.
When I was a teenager, I used to go over to my friend Greg's house, and Greg was older than me. So Greg got a live-in girlfriend at one time. You know Bobby, right?
Who?
His live-in girlfriend, Bobby. She's friends with your mom now. Bobby and Greg were both big Star Trek fans. Like, massive. I mean, Greg had the captain's chair in his living room. He would watch TV and eat cereal sitting in Kirk's captain's chair. So I went over one time after Bobby had moved in. You know, when two people move in, they put their own touch on things, right? Bobby hung a picture in the bathroom, and this was right after Next Generation had premiered. So this is 88, 89, right? And she hung a picture in the bathroom, and it was Data, Picard. No, Picard wasn't there. I take it back. It was Data, Worf, and Riker nude from the back. Like you saw their butts, right? And they were turning to look at the camera, and it said, fully functioning holodeck fantasy. You know, holodeck was a big thing on that, right? And the first time I saw it, I was like, you know what? That's disgusting. You guys are perverting Star Trek. That's ridiculous. And then I'm not going to say that the picture grew on me because it didn't. I always found it disturbing. You know what I mean? I always found it disturbing, right? But what it showed was, since the beginning of any kind of fandom, there's always going to be the artists, the people who think differently, the people who think outside the box, who twist it and make it their own. Now, Paramount, up until like 2 weeks ago, had never sued anybody for meddling in their toy box. They just shrugged and accepted it as, that's part of the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They only got really agitated when that guy raised $100,000 on Kickstarter to make his own Star Trek movie. And finally they said, look, you're doing a good job, it's fun, but absolutely not. Okay? This is our property. So they drew a line in the sand, right? This idea of going around cons and striking people down for drawing pictures, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's no surefire way, quicker, faster way to shut down any kind of allegiance or passion for your project than to say to people, you don't get to play in it.
I think Homestuck was on such of a large scale that I think that's the single-handedly most responsible thing for killing him. Andrew Hussey's wife posted a picture on Twitter of hand-drawn Carcat pixels and keychains and little Zodiac things and little things, all the characters, handmade stuff, and she said, this is all the Homestuck stuff I confiscated from artists. He guilted them all into giving her the stuff because she said they were breaking the law and they're terrible people. And this is really common. I have friends I talk to who have said, yeah, Andrew Hussey's wife has gotten me in trouble. I go to cons who go to artists and I say, do you have any Homestuck stuff? I'd like to buy some. And they said, no, after speaking with the What Pumpkin people, I would never like to face them again.
Well, now it's not even What Pumpkin. Now it's We Love Fine. And We Love Fine can say in their poster, you know, by fans, for fans. Mm-hmm. They can say anything they want. But they're there to protect their investment. I get it. Mm-hmm. But what's funny is, like, somebody's getting all agitated because a guy in Artist Alley has got 3 or 4 Carcat keychains, right?
Oh, yeah. I've seen them at every con. Every con, day 1, they have a row of Homestuck. Day by 3, they don't. It's gone.
But see, the ironic part is they're sitting next to the guy who's taken every major character from Captain America to Baron Zemo, like that A to Z, and they're all done as minions. So he's breaking like 9 copyright laws in a row, and that guy's like making a brisk business. Who do you like? Well, draw him as a minion. Like, wait. the character I like, which you don't own, you're going to draw as a minion, which you don't own, and the studio walks by and goes, hey, keep it up, pal.
And then meanwhile, the person who's drawing Carcan, their own art style,
Oh,
their own product.
they're throwing out back.
Products that they don't even make on Wheel of Fine. Stuff they won't make. Like, troll horns weren't made.
Yeah, no. That distinction doesn't hold any water. I've tried. Remember when I tried to take a Frappuccino in the movies? I said, you don't even sell this here. It's not like I'm taking money out of your pocket because I wouldn't buy your stuff anyways. You have to throw that away, sir.
I have my Homestuck vest that has John stitched on the back. I think it was Anime Expo the first year. I was walking through Artist Alley. I had What Pumpkin people come up and ask me all those questions about where I got it. Because they wanted to hunt down the person.
I would have just said, the guy on the end, the booth, I think it was 2 rows over, second booth. Oh, I would have led them. Yeah. I would have led them all over the place.
And I think this is why Homestuck was killed. I think this is the number one reason that nobody talks about.
Right,
Everybody goes towards the ending being mediocre. I think this is it. I think this is the killer of Homestuck.
Which is worse? Him squelching the fans or the ending not living up to your expectations? Because here's the thing is, it's arbitrary whether he could have written something that was going to appease you. Mm-hmm. Very rarely does a creator of something this big, and I'm looking at all kinds of fandoms, Stephen King's Dark Tower series, Harry Potter, Lemony Snicket. The endings are always kind of, well, that's the way it goes. I mean, look at Hunger Games, man. Spoiler alert. Katniss volunteers for the Hunger Games to save her sister, who they then kill like 10 pages before the end of the book. Are you freaking kidding me?
But here's the problem.
Negating her whole sacrifice. Oh, no, she did it for the greater good. You know what? Katniss wasn't there to be their hero. Katniss was doing it to save her sister, which you kill at the end. Nice job.
Well, here's the
Katniss
problem.
doesn't care about the greater good till halfway through the 3rd book. Like, the very end, she finally does.
And here's the worst part of Homestuck, though, is you can't even criticize the ending because Hussey's friends, who shut all these booths down, have influenced the fans so much because they have insane communication. The opposite of Hussey. They're on 4chan, they're on Reddit, they're everywhere, always talking to you. They've influenced them where if you talk about any fandom incidents, if you criticize the comic or its ending, you get guilt-tripped. Everybody thinks these friends of Hussey's wife, Rachel, are the greatest people ever.
Here's the thing, Austin. I grew up with a mom who loved to give guilt trips. I'm immune. I don't really care.
I'm immune too, but just
guilt
tell me,
schmilt.
Why should
Guilt's the same as being offended. It has no weight. It doesn't exist.
You left the Homestuck fandom, as in not going on Tumblr and Reddit, right when about everyone has your exact opinion now. You would be praised there if you went there now.
I don't care if they don't have an opinion, because these are the same people that hated my guts, that didn't respect me, and they can go, oh my god, you were right all along, all they want. I don't care about this anymore. Why should I care about this comic? The ending wasn't good. Things went out of control between Hussey, and most importantly, the Reddit and Tumblr were full of people I didn't want to talk to because they were rude and they were affected by all of Hussey's friends and they believed in these beliefs that they were just... I couldn't even criticize the comic. I couldn't even comment on an update, hey, this one was really bad and lacked in some departments, without people yelling at me that it was perfect and fine. Why would I want to be in this fandom? Why would I want to talk about this comic? Why would I want to buy merchandise? I see no redeeming factors in liking Homestuck anymore. I just don't see anything in it. The fans aren't cool anymore.
Maybe you should tell your mom so she can stop buying you Homestuck merchandise from Wheel of Fine.
I don't think there's a way for it to stop at that point. I think I've liked it too much. But I will be 100% honest. I hate Homestuck now.
Wow.
I hate everything about it. The only thing I like is what it was. I will still go to cons rarely dressed as Nepeta, and I will cosplay characters. And I will talk about it, but I'm only talking about the comic that was, not the comic that is. Because I think Homestuck in its last year was ultimately a huge disappointment that killed the comic, and Homestuck should be appreciated for what it was for at its start around those times, from 2009 to 2014. That was Homestuck. It ended at Game Over.
What about you?
I don't know. It's hard.
Your final summation. Come on.
I don't have a summation. I mean, I'm still gonna... I still like it. I won't ever... It'd be really hard after 3 years for me to turn that quickly.
Do you like it because do you differ in Austin because you go, well, it wasn't that bad? Or do you differ because you have a more complicated relationship with Hussey.
Yeah.
Like, you like Hussey a lot more than you like Homestuck. Mm-hmm. So does that bleed over?
I don't know.
Look, I like Winona Ryder. Her movies are crap, and yet I sit and watch them. So I get that. I understand that.
I just try to look at it a lot more logic than emotion. Like, I don't get angry at the comic. I try to read what it's doing. Like I said, Hussey published the ending thinking it was good. It wasn't until hours after it went up that he edited the news post to say he was writing an epilogue. We all know he wasn't writing an epilogue until all the reviews started coming in.
Yeah.
So there's something about it that he must have thought it was okay. And for years he was right. Up until the video game started messing up his schedule, he was a good writer. He knew what he was doing.
Right, but here's the thing I can't figure out. And we've dissected it to no end, so I get all that. It's just like, if I could do a Kickstarter and raise that kind of scratch, like, I think first off, I guess part of me would be scared because you how many pledgers were there to his Kickstarter?
Probably a few 100,000.
Right,
because they got to $2.5 million.
So listen, I do Kickstarter and I get 35 pledgers, and I freak the F out because I've got to contact them, talk to them, get their information, get the product, ship it to them. It's like, you've seen your mom and I sit and do it. It's a couple of day affair. It's a very, because everybody has needs for the book, when I send out books, sign it to this person or not to that person, or no signature, or whatever it is, right? So looking at that kind of numbers, he was going to have to hire somebody anyways, just to slog through all of that. Now, if I raised that kind of money, it would scare the bejesus out of me, because nothing scares someone who's trying so hard than immediate and profound success. It's a scary thing. And I don't envy Hussey in that what he had to deliver was a working video game. Now, see, I know nothing about video games, so I would never offer that kind of reward because I can't follow through on it. That's not my thing, right? But he had to do it. And unfortunately, he got caught up in some messes. And I think Hussey had every intention on delivering a fun, workable, satisfying video game. I've no doubt. He's not a crook. He didn't all of a sudden have this brilliant idea to abscond with all the money and live on an island somewhere. It didn't work that way. He really did put the majority of the money towards the game. Whether we ever see that game remains to be seen, right? I don't know.
It's still in progress. There's been some recent stuff with the game in the last couple of weeks even. They've hired more artists, so it's still in production. It's not anywhere near finished.
Did the people who got the other rewards get them?
Yeah. It took after the Kickstarter ended, it was about 9 months before the rewards started rolling in. It ended in November, and people got their stuff in the mail starting the next June. And it was exclusives, plushies and tarot cards and shirts.
Right.
They're all out by now.
Which we've all
Stickers,
seen at cons.
Yeah, buttons. And then, at the same time, he outsourced the game to another company. Because he wanted everything done by that end of those 9 months. Yeah, the Kickstarters, they got early access to the walk around they did in Act 6 of the mini game. Yeah. They got an update early. But he delivered everything he promised, except the game went south.
That's a real bummer. But he probably wasted so much money. It's not like he can rest for the rest of his life on what he did with Homestuck. That's the part I can figure out. Now, I'm sure he's making money off of the We Love Fine deal.
That's his last hope.
But how long are they going to be able to sell merchandise for?
Right now, every Wednesday they're releasing a new product and putting other stuff on sale.
Right, so but I was really into Battlestar Galactica. I bought a lot of merchandise. If I saw stuff now, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Hussey's sitting on and hoping the money accumulates to the point where he can make the game and make it popular again before they run out of money. RJ, one of the music team members, as of a week and a half ago, posted online and said, Hiveswap, all the Kickstarter money is gone. Hiveswap is being funded out of Hussey's own pocket off of only the merchandise sales and the website advertising.
That's insane.
Now, website advertising has hit a low because when when Game Over came out, it was about $500 to get out on the site. When the finale hit, it was about $200.
Oh, and
now it's $10.
They just did a report on Drudge Report that those ad blocker things you can buy are disintegrating online revenue. Like it's zero. They don't have any impact.
Hussey said that even when the advertising went at its height, like you said, $500 to rent it out, all that money was only towards server costs. He didn't get to use it anywhere else other than to keep the site running. The positive to him running advertisements, though, is that it's Project Wonderful.
Skype. Yeah, Skype.
Skype running.
You can't exit out. I have to go do it. Hold on.
No, it's fine. Let's just wrap the show up.
Okay.
We keep hearing this stupid noise off of Austin's computer. That sounds like a record being scratched. Can you get us off of that? Thank you.
It takes a while. No, there's another screen that has to pop up.
Skype doesn't let you just close it out. What was I saying?
Ad revenue you're talking about.
Ad revenue, yeah. Homestuck ad revenue runs on Project Wonderful, which is owned by Ryan North. So he doesn't have a lot of issues with the ad revenue part.
So where do you go from here? There's the question. Because I can always speak from my experience. When Revenge of the Sith ended its theatrical run and came out on disc, I assumed, you heard me say this, until Lucas dies or until Lucas passes Star Wars to somebody else, that's the end of the Star Wars universe. And that was the truth. It took 10 years for somebody to pick up the pieces and Disney to buy it. And I don't count that crappy Rebels cartoon or Clone Wars cartoon. That's all garbage to me. I whether they're good or bad, and everybody has their own opinion, I don't have time to sit and watch what looks like Thunderbird's puppets arguing over getting a bank loan. I just have no time for that, right? So I remember when Star Wars ended, though, we had a lot of discussions like, merchandise-wise, where's it going to go? What are we going to do? We have to find something new. Now, thanks to the wonderful people at the Walt Disney Corporation, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Star Wars Cinematic Universe will never end, ever, in a million years. So, God, that makes me so depressed to think like it's never going to end and that we're going to get a series of stupid movies that have no ending. Like I like the Marvel movies. I'm an idiot. I keep going to them, knowing that at the end of the movie, nothing's going to change. They won't even wrap the story up. I loved Winter Soldier. At the end of the movie, Winter Soldier goes to a museum. He's not captured or reprogrammed. He just goes, what? So, I wish you guys luck finding whatever. I mean, there's something will occupy your time. That's what living on Earth is about, is finding things to occupy our time. A million years ago, it was a campfire. And when it burned out, you started another campfire. So I guess what I'm saying is that as Homestuck gasps its last few flames around the campfire before it's fully snuffed out, you guys are going to have to find another campfire.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm well aware
Steam
of that.
sells in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
but like Steam games aren't a big enough fandom that they have their own people that you can go meet.
Right, but you like Team Fortress?
Team Fortress.
That's going to have an update by the end of the month.
Yeah,
That's
you
always fun. I love going on the Face Punch forums and talking to fans.
Yeah.
And I've been into it for almost, 3 years now.
All the current fandoms are either TV shows I don't care about or video games I can't run.
Well,
Those are the only two types of fandoms going on right now.
You go into Hot Topic, and I'm like, do people really care enough about Supernatural that they have all this product? I've never even seen it. I don't even know what it is.
I couldn't tell you what channel it's on.
It has all this massive amounts of product.
What's going to happen is people are going to jump on bandwagons. Like right now, everyone on Tumblr that I follow that used to be into Homestuck doesn't post any Homestuck anymore. It's all Overwatch. Everything is Overwatch.
That's the new thing, right?
That's the new thing. But what I'm saying is in like another 6 months, it's going to be something totally new. People are going to have to jump and jump and jump until they find a bandwagon that's like Homestuck. Homestuck only lasted this long because it didn't end, because it was just an ongoing thing.
That's the nature of brands, man. Lifestyle brands versus flare-up brands. Like Zootopia is just a movie with a couple of toys.
Yep, and I know it for that. I can't.
Cars is a lifestyle with bedding sheets and gummy snacks, right? Princess stuff is a lifestyle brand. Star Wars, lifestyle. Turtles is every kind of product imaginable for the rest of our actual idiot lives.
And it's been going on like that since '88.
Thank you. I've had almost 30 years of turtles being shoved down our throats. So, this is the nature of brands. You're just watching, sadly, the disintegration of a brand you actually gave a crap about. And that's unfortunate, that really is unfortunate. But that's the way it goes, man. You put all your eggs, and I'm looking at Andrew Hussey's picture right there. You put all your eggs in that basket, and you're saying to this person, I trust you to know what you're doing and to steer the ship right. And the thing is he steers the ship where he thinks it's supposed to go. And if you don't like it, it's your option to either like it or get off the boat. And look at the two of us. Luna and I sat through every single episode of Lost. And he had no idea where he was going. So we know what we're talking about. So I sympathize with you and your anger. I totally do. I totally do.
I understand this.
You're talking to a guy who dreamed of how great the Battlestar Galactica ship was. And the finale, they flew it into the sun. Give me a break.
Lead writer of Hive Swap says the Lost ending was amazing.
Well, he's an idiot then. The ending to Lost was convoluted. And again, same feeling as Revenge of the Sith. Because when they started playing in the magic jacuzzi, remember that? And he's like letting the water run out. I looked at you and I said, they don't know what they're doing. This is actually, in a final episode, 2 hours long, they're killing time. Are you joking? It should have been closing off one story after another. Boom, 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 boom. And instead, I swear to God, Jack was in the magic jacuzzi. What?
I mean, in the comic, they said, one of the horses in the comic became really tiny. They said that would have an explanation. It was never addressed again. There were two characters that were introduced, Zillyware and Sagway, whatever. It doesn't even matter. And when they showed up, it said, you're going to be really thankful they showed up, because they're going to come back in the comic later, and it's going to be great. And they never showed up again.
Let's wrap it up by asking the question I tried to ask at the beginning before you screamed for me to shut up. The guy in the house at the beginning, John Egbert.
Yes.
Homestuck. Did he ever get out of the house? Did he save the universe?
He created a new one.
Wasn't that the plot?
Yeah. Well,
there's a meteorite hurtling towards Earth, Armageddon style.
Ignoring all loose ends, John Egbert was in his house. He booted up a video game. He completed the video game. The credits rolled.
That's it.
Everything else was extra.
And to get from the beginning to the end, you had to go through a huge letdown of time.
It sounds a lot like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Arthur Dent found out his home was being demolished. He laid in front of it, and instead the Earth was demolished. And by the end, he grew a new one.
Yeah.
Well, everything's derivative. There's nothing new under the sun.
But
everything is something crossed with something.
But what disappoints me is, by the end of the comic, there's no redeeming factors. There's no lesson learned. All the characters that were bad are just as bad. Villains don't die. Characters remain tortured. There's nothing to redeem or learn from this comic. As a matter of fact, I think this comic could turn you into a terrible person if you knew how to take it wrong.
But think about this. If you ever look at the positive side, Homestuck joins Harry Potter, Twilight, Divergent, The Hunger Games, all these other long-running franchises. They're over with. You're done with them. If you don't like them, you don't have to revisit them ever again. They fade into obscurity. And they'll be replaced by new versions of Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, Twilight, and
still Percy Jackson.
Lemony Snicket. Lemony Snicket, Percy Jackson. They just delayed the finale to the Maze Runner like a year and a half, and they put out a press release, and people were like, is that thing still going on? You're like, the only bright spot is that Neil Patrick Harris is playing Uncle Olaf in Lemony Snicket, Count Olaf, and that should be great, right? So what are you going to do now?
I don't know.
Find other things. Get into
things
listen to
Volume 10, enjoy that, and then I'll move on.
I'm going to try and enjoy things that are drastically different, but still in my same interests. I've been playing a lot more Nintendo's games lately.
Last release, the last thing we know that he's gonna do.
And that's it.
I got Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. That's a lot of fun.
There you go. So
it's something to talk about. A lot of characters to draw.
Maybe you could get into Batman hardcore.
I'm gonna pass on that. There's so many iterations and reboots, it just doesn't interest me.
Romeo and/or Juliet to read. That's in the mail right now.
Yeah, but that's more Homestuck related stuff. I need to.
Well, just because Hussey's
Maybe
in it
you could
doesn't mean
redo your
Homestuck
bedroom in
related.
Ant-Man.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna get wet of my Homestuck stuff. As a matter of fact, I intend on still enjoying
Other
it
than the
all.
pile you gave me.
Well, yeah, no, you don't have to. Like, when Star Wars ended so crappily, I didn't, like, get rid of all my Star Wars stuff. I still have a whole case full. Because that's good memories. That's how I grew up. I am defined by my admiration of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I'm still gonna cosplay Nepeta. No one's gonna stop me. Whether I hated the second half of the comic or
Back
not.
to the Future ended in summer 1990. I was there for it. It ended. That was okay with me. I was happy. Hey, it's over. Now I can pick it apart for the rest of my friggin' life.
But they actually got to release their episodic adventure game.
Yeah, well, they went with Telltale. Maybe Hussey should have went with Telltale, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
It's over. The end.
It's over. This is
Volume
the end.
10. I'm looking forward to Volume 10.
This is the end.
It's a music album though. It's not even like anything big.
It's 25 tracks. Plus bonus. No penumbra.
It's on vinyl, so you could really get that crisp sound.
It's Bandcamp only, where the music artists get 30%, and Hussey gets 70%.
Hussey doesn't have anything to do with these music albums. All the art is done outside, and all the music's done outside, and he takes a 70% chunk.
Volume 10 was supposed to, and might still, be released on its own, as just the music team saying goodbye. But last we heard, Hussey is going to stick it on Bandcamp, so he gets 70%.
The people who own the platform make the rules, pal. Those people could make their own music album and get 100%, but unless they sell any, it's 100% of nothing.
You can listen to...
Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm Syndrome, that's sort of what I'm saying.
Syndrome.
I was talking about Powell's Minotaur, which is car cat music that Hussey didn't want, so he's just selling it on its own now.
Yep.
My book is available on Amazon for $20. Do you think I get $20 from Amazon? Don't be ridiculous. They get over 70%. Because they own the platform.
On Steam, Valve only takes 30. You get 70.
Yeah, well, that's not how it is.
Well,
that's how it is on CreateSpace. If you go to the actual CreateSpace website. But you don't get free shipping or any of that stuff. You're paying a premium, and there's more money in the writer's pocket. But I always tell people, don't do that. Don't do that. Or buy it directly from me so I get even... ship it out to you signed or something, but you're in a really weird quagmire of big companies who own the apparatus, creators who own the license, and then the artist trying to somehow balance the two and make a few dollars. It's very difficult.
I guess in the end, it's done. Let's closing the book. This 10,000 page book is being closed.
Slowly closes.
But you still got the epilogue.
No, I'm not going to read the epilogue, I'll be honest.
You're not even going to read it.
Nope.
You're done.
I'm done.
People are saying next April for it, so who even knows if anyone will care by then.
So, next up for you is what? Anime Expo?
Yep.
You'll be there, 3 or 4 days?
Yep.
Dressed in your Homestuck finery?
And I don't know if I'm going to do Homestuck or not. Maybe one of the days, if so. I plan to do
You should
other
do Team
outfits.
Fortress. You got that bat.
Yeah,
for your
that's what I was going to
birthday.
say. I want to do Scout one of the days.
Will the update be out by then, or is it going to go up during the con again?
I know, right? It sounds like it's a bad thing, though. There's always an update to be update during the con. Are you kidding me? That'd be great. Probably going to wear my Star Fox jacket one of the days.
All right, so if you're in town for the Los Angeles Anime Expo, look for Austin and Luna. They have, I'll make sure they have some 91 Reasons stickers, so you can take them from them and then rip them up or whatever you do with it. I don't know what you do. Stick them on the elevator and get us in trouble. I don't know. So, all right, let's sign off on what is probably our last official Homestuck episode ever. I did a wrap-up episode not that long ago, but we didn't know if the comic would ever be completed.
Yeah.
So as it's completed and done, except for the rumored epilogue, you say, it's over with.
Yep.
All right. Very sadly.
Yes, it is. I will still be on this, though. I just won't
Your
do
childhood
Homestuck
is over.
episodes.
Maybe they'll do something with Homestuck 2.0 and it will actually be revitalized.
It's time to grow up.
That's out of Hussey's hands. That's someone else. Other
So
stuff.
listen, Homestuck ends. You now smoke a pipe and watch football.
No.
You're trying to grow up.
If I ever do anything with Homestuck ever again, it's write an alternative ending.
Okay.
And end it the
That's
way I
what
wanted it
anyone's
to end.
doing.
Listen, pal, the best stuff I have ever dreamt of and written was formulated while watching a bad movie. I swear to God, I watch bad movies and I go, I could do so much better than that. I watched Batman Returns when I got home, wrote a whole Batman movie.
But isn't Batman Returns a great film?
In hindsight, yeah, but sitting in the theater opening night, it was not what we expected. As you watch it more, it gets better and better, but it's a very straight. It's more about villains than it is Batman. That's why it's a problem.
It's the only Batman I sit down and watch all at once. The other ones I just see here and there.
It's weird. It's Danny DeVito.
So
all right, well, let's wrap it up as we say on this show. I am the voice. I am Jeff. I am joined probably for the last time in this arena with the resident Homestuck experts,
Austin,
Luna,
and together we are the very sadly last title, chapter, and page Homestuck edition 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening by Gramthar's Hammer. We'll be back with another episode. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you. So say we all. Hey, hey, hey.